I think nothing is permanent in life. Someone like Kapil Paji actually having such high regards for me itself is a great honor for me. They said I'm an IPL bowler, I'm a T20 bowler. What is he going to do in Test match? So I would say that my fast bowlers are picking wickets, knocking teams over. Everybody remembered Ashwin as the IPL player, right? Teams are literally now, worried about the Indian fast bowling pack traveling.
Hello everyone, you're on SK Live. I'm your host Indranil Basu. Today we have a very special guest, as we all can see, Mr. Ravi Chandran Ashwin. Hello Ashwin, how are you?
Hi Indranil, doing okay. How are you?
Okay, good to see you. Good to
Same
see you
here,
smiling. Yeah, good to see you smiling, and so much of lot happening in our lives, and you've kept your smile intact. That's important.
Yeah, not just my smile. I've tried to and maybe make a few other people smile as well. So I've been putting some content out there, and that's precisely why I've done it. To keep myself active as well. My mind keeps ticking, and to keep myself active is very important.
Absolutely. And what's been your biggest lesson in this lockdown you have learned?
Biggest lesson? I think nothing is permanent in life. We should all remember that we have our options open. We should always be open to exploring new things. And for me, it's most importantly, it's been about getting perspective in life and also getting your act together. I was basically at one stage prepared to saying, okay, you know what, cricket could not be possible again. So we need to equip ourselves with whatever is possible and whatever is in front of us. And for me to stay away from the game for such a long time has been a challenge because I'm always thinking about the game, watching the game. I love the game to bits, and that's why it's been challenging. But thankfully, I've kept in touch with the game, try and do something around the game, something around the people involved in the game.
You have always been a very involved person, and involvement in terms of your pursuit, be it at home, be it away from home, you've been really incredible. I mean, tell us about that trait you have.
Look, see, it's very difficult for me to say why I am like that. I've just made that way, in the sense that whatever I do with utmost willingness. If I'm not willing to do certain things, whatever you say, you will not get the best out of me. So I'm a very involved person in whatever I do, for that matter. And I've maintained this. Whatever you do in life, there is no harm in any doing the wrong labor or the right labor. But anything you do, if you can do to the best of your abilities with the utmost willingness, I think you'll be best in that business. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Any person in any profession should be completely dedicated to it. And whatever I take up today or tomorrow in life, I'll give the same amount of commitment to it.
Your family must be really excited to have you home, especially your daughter sitting through all the online classes.
I don't think any of them are complaining as of now. My wife, my parents, my daughters, they've all, I think now they have all had enough of me. They want me to go out of the house right now.
Okay. Everyone wants, the game to begin at some level. I remember, talking to Kapil Dev a lot of times, and he often says that you're one of the modern greats of Indian cricket. So how do you look at it? That it's a huge thing coming from Kapil Dev, isn't it?
Forget about modern great of the game or anything like that. The statement Kapil Paji has made is something that's quite he's been very, very chivalrous in making that statement. But someone like Kapil Paji actually having such high regards for me itself is a great honor for me. When I stepped onto the field, wore the first India cap or the India jersey, all I wanted to do was just be out there and enjoy myself for having been blessed with the opportunity to play for the country. Because right from a young age, it was all about wanting to don those India colors or India cap once in my life. So for me to be doing that and also be commented upon and complimented upon by some of the greats of the game and some of the greatest journalists around in the game, and having given so much joy to the people over the years is something that I'm very grateful for, and I wish I can continue to do so for a longer period of time. I'm just deeply indebted. Thank you so much, Kapil Bhai.
No, and getting into a space where you have getting to the 350 wicket mark, fastest Indian to do so, record number of man of the matches, record number of wickets in a home series. So these numbers, do they play in your mind? It's endless. I'm not a stats man, so the trivia is endless, as far as Ravi Chandran Ashwin is concerned. So do you keep those numbers in mind when you bowl?
Honestly, Indranil, it's very difficult to keep those numbers in mind. Who would have thought I will end up playing so many test matches in the first place, because when I burst onto the scene and played for the country, everybody remembered Ashwin as the IPL player, right? Because nowadays, at least with the amount of technology and the people that cover the first class game, you at least have numbers and you at least have a follow tracker that you do on first class games. But when I came to the scenario, first class cricket was something most people didn't even know that it existed. Now at least they do, but they don't follow it. That's a different ball game altogether. But they said I'm an IPL bowler, I'm a T20 bowler. What is he going to do in Test match stuff? But nobody had seen the fact that I played about I played about 30 first class games and picked up 5 wickets a game until I played the IPL for Chennai Super Kings. So for me to turn on the heat and say, here I am, I want to be here, I want the Test cap, and play itself was a big achievement, and go on and get the man of the match, man of the series, and so on and so forth, has just been an extension of how excellent I've been wanting to be as a cricketer. It's just a mental makeup. Whatever I do, whenever I do on that particular day, I want to be the best. So that's an attitude I take. It's not something that's it's not ingrained in my system or something. It's just an attitude. The want to be out there and excel. The feeling of wanting to be better than so many other people on the park is surreal, and the game gives you that opportunity. So I enjoy it.
2010, I remember when you burst into the scene with IPL success, and then 2011, and the way it happened, you got those test wickets in such quick time. That was quite incredible, isn't it?
No, like I said, it was one of those times in my life. I mean, a fair chunk of my cricketing career has gone that way, in the sense that I would say there's been no middle ground in my cricketing career so far. It's either been massive criticisms or it's been massive glory. So forth to say that people expect me to achieve glory every time I walk onto the field. And I sometimes feel, overwhelmed by it. And sometimes I feel, just give me a break. I'm a human being. Sometimes. But having said that, either I find myself in the test team of the year that ICC puts out, or I find myself in the ICC, cricketer of the year, or I find myself out of the 11. So most of these are like, drastic steps. And I wouldn't want anybody to go through this, because these are like one day you're on top of the hill and the other day you're at the plateau. So it's been quite a ride, but I would say I've learned quite a lot. And it's been very exciting. And every time I find myself in the plateau, I again have the opportunity and the ability to climb all the way up the hill. So it's been quite exciting and fascinating, I would say. But wickets, the number of achievements I've done, man of the series, and the numbers, all these things don't matter, Indranil. For me, it's all about the lessons I've learned. And, I might be responsible for so many other kids who will take up the ball and say, I want to be a bowler in this so cruel world to the bowlers. It's such a cruel world for the bowlers. So that's something that I'll be proud of.
Kapil Paji used to quite often say that bowlers are like workers and batsmen are like officers. So remember that.
I keep saying that batsmen are like the CEOs of the company, and the bowlers are like the real laborers who go out there. But credit to the last 2 captains I've had in Indian cricket, right? Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. Both of them have valued bowlers. They have constantly said bowlers win you championships, bowlers win you games, and they've held by it to a greater degree. They have backed the bowlers and they've given them longer runs and all that. So things have changed. They do the realization part of how important bowlers are have dawned upon us, and that due credit needs to go to the captains as well.
2011 World Cup, I remember few matches you were not playing in the team, and a lot were written. I was the one who wrote about why Ashwin is not playing in the 11, and even kept saying that he's ready. We can just put him anytime inside the park and he'll perform. So what were your thoughts at that time? I mean, I still often wonder, because there were a lot of
my thoughts now are like MS Dhoni was extremely good to me, in the sense of saying that he will go out on the park and perform. And I remember that World Cup very, very clearly even now. Every morning I woke up, I wasn't playing in the 11. I hadn't played a lot of one-day cricket also leading into the World Cup. I just played a few games, but I performed quite very well. And every day I woke up and the paper would read, Ashwin should get a game, Ashwin should be playing, so on and so forth. We had Bajuba who was playing in the 11 as well. So it was quite, I was finding it very difficult to balance, so to say, because for me it was like, what? Yeah, I would like to be playing. I want to be playing. Every cricketer wants to play. But here I am being told that I must play. So this delivery of the fact saying Ashwin will play and he will help the team to win. sort of told me like, if I have to play, I need to win the World Cup for the country, right? Because everybody has already said that I should play, and if I play, India will win the World Cup. So there was a lot of pressure around it, and I was overwhelmed, to be saying the least, because I was looking forward to the opportunity. At the same time, I knew there was a burden of so many people expecting me to do well. So it was quite interesting, but I was very, very grateful that I was a part of the team. It was a champion side, and we had one hell of a ride. And truth be told, we lost a game against, it was a tie against England. We lost a game to South Africa in that campaign. All, India, playing in India, so much expectations, and people were gathering behind us, rallying behind us. It was a hallmark, marquee event that I've been a part of. One of the best.
We often see that cricketers have more bad days than good days. So, do you think education also helps? Being good at academics, being a good student, does it help also?
If there is one thing that I will pride myself upon for having done well in my life, is the fact that I've thought deeply about the game. I've thought way too deeply that sometimes it is not easily consumable by a lot of people, and that's partly because of how I think. And thinking is something that engineering gave me, because I had to do it, and the kind of yards I had to put in trying to balance my cricket and education was extremely difficult. And whatever I did henceforth was all about putting mind, trying to do things differently, trying to assess what's happened, what's gone by, and then try and rectify it very quickly and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes I feel my active mind kind of unravels things that shouldn't be seen that way. I don't know if I'm clear enough, but I tend to think the way I see and receive life is contrastingly different to how a lot of other people do that. For a large part of my cricketing career, I didn't realize this. I always thought that this was the straightforward way of thinking, but then I reading and talking to people, understanding people a lot more, maturing in life, coming of age. I do believe that there are people who have different strengths, different ways of winning, different ways of doing certain things. It's all about trying to understand each one of them. And for all if I'm open to all these things, I could improve on the way, learning from them. So if I need a gift, I would ask God right now is to say, I don't have to think so much. I mean, I just need to be, I should not have an active mind and keep things really simple. And that's what I've been doing over the last couple of years.
So how do you take criticism? When people talk that Ashwin is only good at home and he doesn't, get much of success in Australia and England, which I beg to differ. How do you take those criticisms? You bowled well in those conditions. I know. It's not about wickets all the time.
Look, this morning when I woke up and I had somebody on Instagram remind me that the last wicket that we took of Hazelwood last year in the Adelaide Test, and he reminded me and said that was one hell of a performance. You bowled 90 overs, picked up 6 wickets for 150 runs. Yes, you didn't get a 5-wicket haul, but that was one hell of a spell where you got India to a famous victory. He also mentioned about the 25 I made in the first innings. Sometimes contributions are not necessarily eye-catching when you travel abroad, because you're not doing the bulk of the work. The quicks are doing, and you're sort of doing the holding role all the time. But for me, how I take criticism is something that I've always paid attention to, in terms of trying to see if I can learn something out of it. But of late, I've realized something, that most of the criticisms, are people doing their jobs. People are on air. People are writing. They're making a living out of what I do. I play the game, and they make a living out of what they say about me, right? So after a point of time, I actually don't think much about it at all. I just keep it extremely professional and say, they're doing the job. I'm doing my job, and I will try and get better. And I'm my honest. I cannot be lying to myself. So I know with all honesty what I must be doing, how I should get better, and how I shouldn't, or where I need to draw the line. So I really don't take it very seriously, to be honest. They're doing the job, and I'm doing mine.
Of course, you are doing your job quite brilliantly, actually. Once I remember getting a call from former BCCI President N. Srinivasan, who got a call from Ravi Shastri telling him that Ashwin should bat at number 6. So, that it actually happened. And so, number 6, you did quite well. You have 400 next to your name in Test cricket. So, I mean,
Look, I think I played a few games at number 6. I've not played a large number of games at number 6. I think my record at number 6 also will be pretty decent, if I'm not wrong. I think I made a couple of hundreds at number 6. So that's probably the best batting position that I've had in my life. But ever since, what's happened in the last couple of years when I've been left out of one of the other two formats and I'm just playing Test cricket, I just feel the continuity of having played 12 months a year makes a lot of difference. When you're playing 12 months a year with the international team, you are constantly in touch and you never lose that rhythm. And when I do get back into the Test side to play for the team, sometimes it just takes a wee bit of time, and that's all it is. A couple of innings, 3 innings here and there, and all of a sudden I'm searching for answers with the bat. But whereas when it comes to my bowling, I'm always there and thereabouts because I try and somehow replicate it. Even if I'm playing club cricket, I'm doing my job as it is. But when the switch happens, the continuity is missing all of a sudden. But I'm trying to put an end to it and try and make sure I'm matching up for it with the quality of practice, the repetitions. I felt the repetitions of quality practice was missing. And I think I'm trying to, mix and match. Like I said, my active mind thinks like this, and I'm trying to put, the solutions for that.
And change is the only constant. You have to keep evolving with time.
In fact, change is the only permanent in life, Indranil.
Yeah.
Look at where we stand right now. My daughters are 5 and 3, and both of them are learning on a computer. For me to even know a computer existed took me 15, 16 years. And today they're learning on a laptop, and I'm sitting right beside them, seeing how they learn. And change is the only permanent thing in Renil. And I think going forward, that will be the only permanent thing.
Is Ashwin ready for 2.0?
Absolutely. Look, it's not about 1.0 or 2.0. Every day is an opportunity, and I feel if this pandemic has hit, this pandemic comes with a certain gift wrap for me. The break has given me a certain gift wrap. It's brought some, in fact, I see it very positively in a sense of saying a lot of people are struggling, livelihoods are not being met. But how can I look at it positively for myself? I'm not being able to play, but at least I've got a break to reflect upon myself. How can I be the fittest I've been? How can I be the best father? How can I be the best dad? How can I be the best son? How can I be the best husband? So that itself is the first change. And second change I would like to do is obviously just come out there, be as fresh as I can, and start playing the game like I'm making my debut all over again. And that's the best thing that this pandemic has done to me, and looking forward to getting out there.
You always had a clarity. You always have a clarity in your mind, which is really great. One of my TV friends, my seniors, Mr. Abhishek Dubey, he tells me that you have the making of a very good commentator. He says, and the voice modulation you have, it's excellent. He keeps telling me, and I completely agree with him. I mean, what are your thoughts? It's too early, though. It's too early, but
I wish the days are far away. And also, like I said, I honestly don't know, Indranil, because if you had asked me this question or said this is the case 5-6 years ago, I would have said okay, and I would have just thought about it. But now I think life is too uncertain, and you can't really put a finger and say this is where I will be headed, because I'm a person of varied interests. Like I said, whatever I do it channelizing my energy in the certain direction and giving it my utmost best. So for me to look at something like this and say, yeah, that's where I'm headed, is too premature. If you had asked me at the age of 8, what do you want to be? I would have said I want to be an Indian cricketer. But at the age of 33, if you ask me now, what are you going to be, the best commentator? I'd say, oh, hang on here. That's not what I really traded for. I could be anything, I've missed out on so many things in life, Indranil. For example, I did not have a proper college life like most of the other students had. I didn't have a great school life because of what I had to give for the game. I miss a lot of those. And for all you know, I'd want to spend all those times of missing school and college with my daughters going to school and college, sitting there, tutoring them. And those are the small joys of life. And I might give that a lot more importance. I might do many other things. I'm a very interested entrepreneur. Could take up anything for that matter. I don't know. I honestly, the most exciting part I feel is once I've said I've had enough of the game, I might just open up something new for myself. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's why, you've done every bit of bowling, off spin, arm ball, leg spin, googly, and carom ball. So any other variation which we are not aware of, can you please tell us?
truth be told, I'm trying. I'm trying very, very hard. I've been trying for a while. There's this old saying that goes, when you're ready, the guru will automatically arrive. So I think in my life, it's been very, very similar. If I wanted to achieve something, bowl a new ball, play a new shot, try and get somewhere, things have assembled together. Yes, they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. But sometimes I felt like the harder I worked, the unluckier I got in my career. A lot of times, I've been working like damn so many times, bowling those repetitions, bowling 1,000 balls a day, hitting 500 balls a day, but it'll just not feel right. It'll never work out. And I've gone through that phase for a few years, trying to achieve something, put in a lot of hard work, but I just feel that amount of magic that has been inside my head is just about coming together. I have a very, very good feeling about what's going to happen in the future. It's finger crossed, touch wood, but I have a really, really good feeling and a sharp sense of positivity about it.
Don't you think at times it's better to stick to your basic, which is the off spin? You try out so many things.
There are so many people, Indrani, there are so many people in life who stick to the basics. Why should you be one amongst them?
Yeah, that is true.
Everybody has a part to play in life, Indrani. And if I wasn't this, if I wasn't this person, then I wouldn't be who I am today, and people wouldn't be talking about it, right? So I think there is a certain amount of, they say when you go to a poker table, if you're not ready to go all in, never go to a poker table. So as far as I am concerned, when I'm finished playing, I should just tell myself, you know what? I had a ball of a time. I never left anything unturned. I picked up every stone, turned it around, and found out what it was all about. And that will give me pure happiness and bliss, rather than following something that I am not.
Which Test series win for India is closest to your heart?
Quite a lot. Every Test win is special as far as I'm concerned, because a Test win doesn't come easily, right? When you play a T20 game in 2.5, 3 hours, the game is done, like watching a movie. But a Test win is hard fought. It's an emotional roller coaster. So I cherish every Test win that I've had. But for me, the best series, if I had to say one, we won in Australia. We won in Adelaide. I was a part of it. Couldn't take part after that. We won a few games in England. We won a series in West Indies. But somehow I think the Australia tour of India in 2016-17 was top notch, and the quality of cricket that was played between the two teams was amazing. And Australia came really prepared. They hit us hard. They won the first Test in Pune on a turner. So I felt that comeback series win was very, very special, and especially the Bangalore Test. I keep repeating and going back to it. It's one of the best Test matches I've been part of, with so much emotions and all that.
We don't get that many bowling captain in India. We had Kapil Dev, we had Anil Kumble, and we saw a little bit of Ashwin captaining, a thinking captain for the Kings 11. So what's with this batting captain all the time? Why can't we have bowling captain?
Look, I put my heart and soul into what I did for Kings 11. I put everything in, and sometimes things are not meant to be, and unfortunately or fortunately, the game is constantly led by batsmen, and that's been sort of a landmark. Maybe because bowlers do a lot of work. They bowl a lot more. They're not able to take 360-degree view of the game, especially when it comes to the Test format of the game. And I think when bowlers mature and they get older, they also take stock of things 360 degrees rather than when they're younger. And I think that's one of the reasons why batsmen tend to lead sides. Bowling captains are quite a rarity, but I definitely think a bowler who knows how to set his fields and who's got his plans, how he's got his plans right, how it is, understands the game well, can make a good captain. And I thought Anil Kumble was one such good captain that India had. Kapil Paji did a phenomenal job. In the past, even Bishan Paji was a good leader. But I haven't seen far many bowling captains. But one captain I would have loved to watch as a cricketer was Shane Warne leading the side.
Yes.
That's quite
2008.
It's quite unfortunate that it didn't happen. I think he had all the requisites to be a captain. He showcased that in the Rajasthan Royals triumph in the first season. He's got a very sharp cricketing brain, and I've always enjoyed Shane Warne as a cricketer. He's been a poster boy of spin bowling success.
Yeah, absolutely. Will you miss this year's IPL as a captain? I mean, you captain the side this year. Will you miss captaining the side?
Look, I think one thing I realized is I become richer as an individual after having led two seasons at the Kings 11 Punjab. It is a proper business show. You deliver, but I couldn't deliver. I couldn't take the team through to the playoffs for 2 seasons. We showed promise, but not quite good enough to get into the playoffs. But I think I left something behind at Kings 11 in terms of how things can be done. They've got a really strong unit at this point of time. If you ask me if I miss it, maybe not. Leadership is something that you can give even if you're just a player, right? So as far as I'm concerned, my leadership to the game and to the team will always be 100% wherever I am, and I'm looking forward to the season with Delhi Capitals.
Standard-wise, IPL and what was the difference? I mean, which is higher? I mean, which is better, IPL or international cricket?
International cricket is a different kettle of fish, right? So it's a wrong comparison to make, I think, international cricket and the IPL, because you don't play so many T20 cricket for your international side. You play a lot more T20 cricket for your franchisee. I don't think you get as many T20 games being played in a year by all teams around the world as much as you play in the IPL. I think you play somewhere like 60-65 games within a span of 2-3 months. And if you put all the T20 games around the world that's playing international T20 cricket, so lesser, I guess. So it's not a right comparison to make, but I think IPL makes for exciting viewing, and IPL is one product that's 100% here to stay, and it's going to lead the pathway in the future.
Cricketers love Test cricket, and the kind of stamina, kind of marathon spells you have delivered. I remember in one of the series against Australia, I think the last series we played, you bowled 52.5 overs, conceded 92 runs, and got 3 wickets. What spell? I mean, it reminded me almost like a fast bowler, like your dad. Your dad was a fast bowler.
My dad was a medium pace bowler.
Yes.
So he played some cricket in Chennai, and I modeled myself seeing him play as a youngster. But I don't think I was blessed to be a fast bowler, in all honesty. But this is where I began the interview as well, when you asked me about overseas performances. And that performance in Australia is something that I will cherish all the time. But I don't think I got enough credits for it. But I'm not saying it is for the credits, but for me, it was a very memorable game. Not for more than just one reason. I torn my abdomen muscle right before I got into the second inning spell. Right from the over number 1, I had a grade 3 tear, and I just went through with it. Had tablets and kept going. Like they say, after a point of time, you don't feel the pain. That's exactly how it was. I became numb to pain, and I can't even fathom how I went through that entire spell of 52 overs now, and that pain is still tingling in my abdomen as I talk about it. It was one of the worst nightmares I've had for 10 straight days from there on. I couldn't sleep properly in the night, because every time I inhaled, my abdomen used to throb and pain and say, you know what, this is the gift you pay for keeping on going, not worrying about what's happened inside body. And I had a torrid 10-day time, and even worse, as I was recovering, I couldn't recover fast for the series finale at Sydney. So it was quite an up and down moment, but I think that will be one of those cherished moments with a little bit of pain in my heart.
We really cherish that moment also when we hear stories about Kapil Dev playing uninterrupted, for India without getting injured. That's quite an example for all the bowlers.
And a fast bowler as well. And talk about that. I think the only point of difference between the era in which Kapil Paji played and right now is the amount of workload that's going in. Cricketers play many more matches in a quicker span of time. But with all due respect that needs to be given to that generation of players, there was no massive knowledge about fitness culture. There was not a lot of strength work that was brought in. No physiotherapy. All those are like unbelievable things. And Kapil Paji being the fast bowler that he was and batting down the order, I can't fathom the fact that they didn't have a physiotherapist in the team, and they didn't have all these ice baths and recovery and all that sort of stuff. And still he managed to go uninterrupted by an injury for that long time. That's just magical. And they used to tell me Kapil Paji used to do a lot of running and kept himself going. So even if I think about it now, that those are like great achievements done by these great cricketers who laid the pathway for us.
And the fast bowlers, today's fast bowler, how do you feel when they take all the wickets top of the order? When they when they leave nothing for you?
Look, a lot of times I remember when I play alongside Ishant Sharma and all that. Ishant has been one of the longest companions for me in Test cricket as a bowler in the bowling unit. And Ishant, I used to talk to him about how he used to stand at mid on and mid off when we were going away, cartling away, taking wickets. And sometimes his role will only be bowling in the new ball. And then if the ball reversed, he comes and bowls in India. So likewise, when we travel abroad, the role reverses. And we've got a fabulous bowling unit right now. We've got a fast bowling pack that's good enough to rattle any opposition around the world. So that's sometimes a joy, on wickets, especially when you have a lot of grass and help for the fast bowlers. As a spinner, you don't want to be bowling when the opposition is like 150 for 1 or 200 for 2. Those are like tailor-made situations where a spinner is going to have his back up against the wall. So I'd be as a spinner and as a teammate, as a proud Indian player, I would say that my fast bowlers are picking wickets, knocking teams over. Teams are literally now, worried about the Indian fast bowling pack traveling. So that's a matter of pride for me.
It's the best in the world, easily, and you're part of it.
Sure. My mindset is like a fast bowler, but I'm not a fast bowler yet.
You are. Of course you are. Tell us, before we let you go, tell us one story on the field that really, gave a very positive, positive thing in your life, left behind a very positive mark in your life. Any particular incident which you'll remember for the rest of your life?
Look, this is a story that a lot of people might not associate directly with MS Dhoni, but I would like to bring this to surface. Many a times when people question MS about how he's done it, he talks a lot about process. He keeps it really simple and all that. He doesn't divulge a lot of his secrets. But heart of heart, the one person that's encouraged me day in and day out for whoever I am today, in terms of doing things differently, trying out new things, experimenting with my cricket, it's been MS Dhoni. Because he saw that streak in me very early on when I was at CSK and also went on to play for India. And whenever I used to cop, people spoke a lot about, it's just like I am this criticism's child, where whenever people see me fail, they immediately bring out the fact of saying, hey, you know what, he tries too much. He experiments too much. He can stick to the basics. And sometimes there's been this angst inside me. It's asking, what's the basics here? Come on, someone tell me what the basics are actually. What is it supposed to be? But sometimes when all these things have happened, I've also questioned myself, wanted to be, just bowling off break and all that. And MS has constantly told me, you know what, Ash, your biggest strength is that you can deliver any ball. You can bowl anything. And that's your biggest gift. And I haven't seen anybody as talented as you are. So I don't think you should move away from it. People will come and go. At the end of it, they are doing a job and you're doing yours and you're bloody good at what you do. So that's something that he's very integrally part of. And it happened in South Africa in 2010 when I was the player of the series at the Champions League. And I bowled a super over and MS walked past me and said, I got pummeled under pressure when David Hussey was batting in the super over. I volunteered to bowl. And after a couple of good balls, Hussey hit me for about 20 runs in the over. And MS, after the game was over, I was like distraught. Imagine like a 23-year-old, completely lost, because I had asked my captain to bowl that super over. I went in, I let him down, and it was like a terrible performance. And he said, you should have bowled the carom ball. Where did it go? Because that's your biggest strength. Under pressure, whoever says whatever they want to say, it doesn't really matter, or whatever happens, you bowl your best and things don't work. You can't do anything about it. So just stick to the process. And when he says stick to the process and deliver the result, there is some sound reasoning. And without sound reasoning and sound planning and innovative thinking, MS wouldn't have achieved what he achieved in his career.
Did he allow you to place your fields, your fielders?
Absolutely, without a doubt. By a country mile, the first captain who ever allowed me to. I think there is this innate understanding that MS has about cricketers, where he makes his assessment about cricketers. And from day one, when I took to the field and I started putting men in position, and that's something that might be new at when people are seeing, right, a debutant coming in and putting his field. MS never had any problems with it. And the one thing MS would always say is, because perennially I was bowling in power plays, the one thing that MS always used to say was, a small tweaks when things weren't working. And even then he would say, the call is yours and you need to take. And if things are not going right, any captain would try and change up things. And from that perspective, that freedom and allowance of me coming in, because the thing was, I captained my state side when I was 20 years. So I was in a position to set my fields right from the age of 20. So when I came in at 23 or 24 into the IPL side, I was like, I wanted to set fields because that's the way I was playing my game. And MS never had a problem with it. And he was very encouraging of it. In fact, I used to go and suggest about other field placements for other bowlers, and he was very open to it.
On that note, thanks a lot, Ashwin, for joining us on SK Live. You are our 75th guest in 90 days. Yeah, we are doing great, and it was a real honor having you on the show. And stay safe. Best wishes to your family, to your daughters, to your wife, to your surrounding. Stay safe. Come back strong. That's what we have for you. And thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Indranil. Very sweet of you. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Stay home.